Hey there, welcome to Product Marketing Genius. I'm your host, Nitin Karthik. As CEO at Caribou Strategic, where we help tech scale ups stand out and succeed, I know the importance of continually sharpening the saw. And that is why on this show, we bring you really priceless nuggets of wisdom from some of the geniuses out there. And today, my friends, our genius is Sofia Sulikowski. So, welcome, Sofia. And why don't you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
So it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Sophia. I'm currently a product marketer at Atlan, which is a data governance solution. I, by accident, have spent my whole career in the data software industry. So that's where I've built my industry expertise, talking to the data engineer, analyst, data governance practitioner persona.
Excellent. Wonderful. Really great to have you, Sophia. So tell us, Sophia, prior to this event, right? We're right now at the Product Marketing Alliance Summit in New York. Prior to this event, how familiar were you with the PMA? And is there anything that you would say is a favorite part of the community for you at the PMA?
Yeah. So I was previously living in Austin, Texas, and actually attended a PMA summit there about, I want to say 3 years ago at this point. So I'm familiar with the events. I've gone to a couple of their local meetups as well. And it's nice that they have product marketing built into the name. They're recognizable, they're easy to find and know what they do as a community. It's not always the case for finding peers in wherever you are. And so familiar with what they do, supportive of always bringing together product marketers. There's should always be more talking.
More talking indeed. I think the more we get together is going to be really good. In fact, so speaking of getting together, Sophia, if someone were to ask you, why are events like these, the Product Marketing Alliance events, why are these so important? How would you answer that? What's your take on that?
Yeah. Throughout my career, I've found that product marketers don't tend to work directly with product marketers that much. Usually you're the sole product marketer who drives a project or initiative out cross-functionally. And so it's really nice to get together with folks who are also tend to be sole owners of an initiative and collaborate, share ideas, and expand your understanding of what's possible, what's out there. So many times product marketers are the ones suggesting the structure and the plan and building the go-to-market motion. And so to validate, to compare with others is incredibly helpful. Some of the best ideas have come out of conversations with peers.
That's right. When product marketers get together, there is nothing we can't accomplish. I think you would agree with that. So excellent advice. So thank you, Sophia. So Sophia, take us into your journey, right? Tell us what got you into product marketing and into how successful you are today.
Yeah. So I think an exception to the usual story where I actually knew of product marketing starting back in college. I had a friend of a friend that went to product marketing. And so at my last year of university, I did a tour of interviewing different marketers. This is for anyone who's at the very beginning of wanting to break into product marketing, talking to people. There's, even with now more sources like PMA, it's hard to get a sense of what does each marketing specialty do until you're in the industry. So I had kind of set my eyes on product marketing, started my career at a startup in a generalist marketing role, did basically everything under the sun that could fall into the lap of marketing. It was a rotational program without officially being a rotational program. And then I started in a customer advocacy role. So what's traditionally in customer marketing, which reported into product marketing. That's not always the case. But I had direct exposure to my product marketing teammates and leader while getting really deep into customer problems, doing a lot of customer interviews. And I think that's set me up for success in this industry and for product marketing at large, because everyone says we should talk to customers more often, but it is not always a reality of the product marketing day to day. And so starting my career in an incredibly customer facing role, it was also fun. I got to talk to happy, successful customers and learn about what they loved about the company and the product. Was a fun way to then laterally move into product marketing from there with that foundation.
That's amazing. I think we hear a lot of stories of people who had no clue about product marketing. It's very interesting to see that you knew this right from college, right? So I would say that you've been an early believer. And so that's really amazing, Sophia. So, Sophia, imagine a CEO or a founder of a company were to come to you and say, Sophia, why is product marketing indispensable? Why is it critical for my business? How would you answer that question?
Yeah, it's a good question. I like to call product marketing basic marketing to some extent. Because rather than focusing on a tactic or a channel to talk about your product, you're developing the foundations of who needs your product and why. And then regardless of where you put that message, your likelihood for resonating with the right person and leading to a sale is so much higher having done that work rather than trying to optimize within a channel and tactic without getting the messaging right.
Yeah, that's, I think, a great way to look at it. Product marketing is basic or fundamental marketing, right? You cannot get your advanced capabilities of marketing right until you get your fundamentals right. And so product marketing is like the foundation of your building. Don't build your building high without getting your foundation right. So excellent answer. I love the way you look at that. So then let's say, Sophia, a junior product marketer who's maybe looking to get their career to the next level. Let's say they come to you and say, Sophia, you've been very successful. If I want to take my career to the next stage, what are some skills that I should really focus and double down on? How would you answer that question?
Yeah. The first skill that comes to mind to me is collaboration and communication. It's a tricky one to work on. You can't really take a course on it. You simply have to get a lot of reps in. But a lot of the times in product marketing, you are educating internally over and over and over again and trying to sell the vision for what a good product marketing program looks like. And so oftentimes that takes pushing. And so earlier in my career, I was more hesitant to say, I need you to commit to this. And that is really what it takes to lead to impact, is movement of a whole bunch of cross-functional stakeholders towards a common goal.
That's amazing. I think everyone out there, if you take one thing away from this interview, I think it's about that cross-functional collaboration and being able to work with stakeholders. So that was excellent advice. So thank you, Sophia. Sophia, now let's talk about teams that may be on a budget, right? Sometimes we don't have all the budget that we need. Product marketing, that comes with the territory. If someone were to ask you, hey, I'm on a team with a limited budget, but I'm really trying to achieve my goals, what are some resources that you would point them to, either free resources or even paid, if it's very cost effective, perhaps some things that have worked in your career?
Yeah. I'm going to pick this one up with where we left off talking about cross-functional collaboration. I have found great success in scaling my programs beyond what I would be able to accomplish solo with my work hours in a day, working with internal data experts and AI experts now more recently. Not every company has a data team or an AI impact team, but there's probably someone within your company that has a knack for analytics or leveraging AI tools. So two really concrete examples that I'll put out there. In my customer advocacy days, we did not have the budget to buy a tool like Reference Edge or some sort of customer reference management tool. But it was taking so much of my time to manually track, note, and recommend every time we wanted to put customer materials in a deal or in an event. And so a lot of this information lived in Salesforce. Not everyone had licenses to Salesforce because they're expensive within the company. And so I ended up working with our internal data team to build a sync using HighTouch, which is a reverse ETL tool that took the information in Salesforce and put it in a more user-friendly open table in Notion that would auto-update every time a change to a customer field was made in Salesforce by the salesperson. And so then that unlocked probably 20% of my time back up again, because I could point people to self-serve to this table. So I didn't have to build it myself necessarily, but I had the vision for what self-service would look like to then free me up to be a higher impact resource for the company to work on something else. Second quick example here is AI. Working right now, I have the privilege of working with an incredibly AI forward person that became their full-time role at Atlan, is figuring out how we can leverage AI across different programs. And so together we've built a persona GPT trained on customer interview transcripts and editor battle cards to shortcut some of the messaging work as it relates to a specific persona. It helps with sales enablement as well. I think you can probably use free versions of, ChatGPT without proprietary company information. Please don't do that. Check with your IT team on what sort of AI tools. But those licenses are not super expensive. And I think most companies nowadays are on board with providing corporate AI something licenses. And so there's a general understanding that there's experimentation to be had for scaling programs with AI, whether it's persona trained GPT or a notebook for you plug in your messaging house, and then it helps accelerate different content outputs that pull from the same narrative document. And so those are ways that you can scale yourself and your work without a whole bunch of money to do so.
That's the key. Scale yourself and your work. So excellent advice, Sophia. Folks, again, another important nugget from this interview is we should all learn to work smart. Even though we work hard, of course, we all work hard, but we should also work smart and use AI and other tools to the rescue. So thank you, Sophia. Excellent advice. Folks, there you have it. For more great insights, definitely reach out to Sophia. And for even more insights, check out my Amazon bestseller, Product Marketing Wisdom, at productmarketingwisdom.com. And see you next time on Product Marketing Genius.